Honorable Chief Guest, dignitaries, fellow industry friends, and other members from faculty and student community. Go along how industry views the trends in technology in terms of the real life scenario that we talk of today, and how Dr. Mishra has treated this field and given us a peep into the future of software engineering. So I represent Adobe and I head the government business for Adobe in South Asia. Adobe Systems does almost quarter of its revenue from education segment. So I thought it's very relevant that let's give you a peep into what industry does in the education segment from a technology perspective. So while the teachers, the educators, the faculty members, and everybody form the core of the system which provides the professionals for the growth and the development of the society. The students here who are present here tomorrow would be working in, say, banking industry or media or manufacturing, engineering, and various other forums. When you move into that field, you will realize that the adoption of computer technology has been So the adoption of computer technology in these fields has been great. Okay, over the last 2 decades, the way these industries work has taken a paradigm shift. With the changing environment in the global economy every day, with the increased competition, creativity is one aspect in the industry that we think today is required on the fly. So while in the earlier days, education was thought of as a matter that a subject or a content has to be delivered to the student, and student would take that as a static knowledge, okay, and move out into the field into his profession and utilize that knowledge. But today, with the changing environment, with the changing demand of the industry on a daily basis, what the educators also have to think of how to impart the creative skills into students so that they are constant, dynamic, better learners on an everyday basis when they are into their professions. So while the other industries have adopted computer technology in a great way, I think there is some scope which remains for the education system itself to adopt these technologies in a greater way and see how they can benefit it. So the way I have seen is, what are the key challenges that the education system of today faces, and if increased IT adoption is done in the education system, particularly in the higher education system, how can we benefit from that? These are some very interesting data points that I was yesterday evening when I was preparing this note, I could gather that around 12.4% of the students in India go for higher education. It's a very small fraction of our population, of our growing population. Now, if you just want to increase that from 12.4% to say 1/3 of our the youth population, it would require approximately 1,000 universities or 40,000 colleges. Now, just imagine the kind of logistics in terms of physical infrastructure itself that would be required to put up such a humongous system to deliver higher education. One of the key points which comes immediately is the faculty shortage when we are trying to build up this kind of ecosystem to deliver higher education. Because while the physical infrastructure can still be built based on the investment, now when we want faculty, that would come from the investments that the society has made probably a decade or more earlier. Based on the faculty and the kind of skills and the experience that faculty brings in, it directly reflects upon the quality of the education that gets delivered, and the students who come out of such institutions and become the leaders of tomorrow's industry and society in various facets. And finally, and very important, is as we talk about increasing our higher education enrollments almost by 100% or more, then the affordability and taking it across the masses is a very important criteria. And can this be can this be addressed using information technology? So when we talk about digital infrastructure in education, the way I have seen the life cycle of digital infrastructure, it can be divided into three parts: authoring, management, and delivery of the content. So by authoring, we mean that whatever education or the knowledge that is imparted in the physical world today, whether it is in terms of lecture or the textbooks that we handle in the physical environment, how that can be made available in digital format. Now, when we are making this kind of a shift, this content has to be more engaging, interesting, so that the students remains attached with that content and uses it. As this content keeps developing and attains the critical mass, there comes a need to manage this content in a proper fashion so that it can be accessed based on personal requirements over various methods of accessibility or devices that we are seeing proliferating today in the market. Now, when we come to delivery, now, delivery is an important aspect. In the physical world, the teacher is there in the classroom and the teacher can see whether the student is taking the lecture, is able to absorb the knowledge that is being imparted, and also query upon and measure basically the information flow. But in a virtual world where the things are delivered from a remote place, the criteria about engaging the students and absorbing them into the education system is a very important point for its success. So this is how we see the whole life cycle, from the authoring of the digital content, managing it in one place, and then finally delivering it to the consumers of this. I have taken it from Adobe perspective. I should have been a little more, I would say, ubiquitous here. But it will at least give you the peep into the systems, as Adobe uniquely covers all three facets of authoring the content, managing the content, and delivering the content. So when we say authoring the content, what we would basically require is, in terms of building blocks, is the creative tools. These tools would be for various forms of expression that we see. It could be text, it could be animation, videos, images, audios, various, whatever we can think of as a form of expression. Okay? And it is definitely much more diverse that we see in the physical world. And once the content is prepared based on these creative tools, it has to be localized based on the language, the profile of the group that is going to consume it. And this whole content can then be mixed and be made more engaging. Now, as I said earlier, once this content is collected, it needs to be put somewhere very similar to a physical library that we have in our colleges. So there are provisions for having digital library which can catalog this content. This content can then be rated by its consumers so that people get a guidance on what is being most used. It can also be integrated with on a social platform, so that people can start collaborating also over it. And finally, on the delivery side, this content can be delivered both in synchronous as well as in asynchronous mode. By synchronous, I would mean that the teacher who is delivering the content and the student are able to communicate with each other while the process of delivering the content is on. And in asynchronous mode, it is one-way communication, a one-way delivery of the content. We can make collaboration possible over the system where the faculty, the students, or the students amongst their interest groups can communicate with each other, talk to each other, share their own contents and ideas. And it's very important, it is available over various kinds of devices that are getting more and more popular today. So what we are saying is, like, this content should be available anytime, anywhere, and over any device, so that we can transcend the boundaries of the physical world that we see today and address some of the infrastructure, the logistics, the resource challenges that we spoke about in the beginning. I'll just a small view into some of the products that are available. These are few products. Yeah, definitely they're industry leading products, and these products are used for creating content in the digital world. So most of the e-learning content creators would be using Flash or a Photoshop or a presenter. So these are the tools. These tools are also used in the industry, in the media industry. Most of you would have seen the movie Avatar. The entire movie is based on has been made using these tools. Okay. So what we see is, like, if these tools are available in our system today for the students and for the teachers, and if students become more and more conversant with these tools are also very relevant in the new industries of today. The jobs which are getting created in the new industries. They're not in the traditional brick and mortar industry. It's the jobs in newspaper, in restaurants, in cement industry, in manufacturing are not growing leaps and bounds. They are rather shrinking. The jobs are growing in the industries like the new media. It's growing in animation. It's growing in gaming. It's growing in mobility. It's growing in advertising. These are the places where the job growth is between 40 to 80%. And these are the places where everything about creative tools on digital content comes into play. And a lot of you people who from the student community, you would be landing up into these kind of industries tomorrow, where you will see how prolific these tools are becoming. Now, after the content has been created, an important aspect is about the management of it, and the whole management part can be divided into 3 silos. First is the repository of this content. So there should be a repository which is scalable, because these kind of digital contents take large amount of, they have a big footprint, they take large amount of storage space. It should be based on open platform and open standards, so that we can integrate, say, other programs or various devices of today and of future. This content then should be, we should be able to search it. Students should be allowed personalization, so that maybe we can create our own landing page, and we can accumulate our digital assets of our own interest on that page, and people should be able to read these contents which are available. And when we talk about the delivery or the accessibility side of it, localization, easy content upload and download through bandwidth optimization and standards-based technologies, mobile support and social components are some important factors. So we just spoke about synchronous and asynchronous modes of delivery, content delivery on an online method, and Adobe has products for both areas. There could also be a hybrid solution where we could be delivering, say, a video stream through an asynchronous mode, and we can use collaborative platforms which are generally available in synchronous modes and manage the student-faculty or student-student communication over the same program which is going on. These are some standard features that these kind of systems should allow. So after giving into people what the digital infrastructure, digital communication, digital content means in terms of delivering education, these are some of the benefits which we would see accrue to the whole environment. Like, yes, it fosters creativity. As we said, creativity is becoming very important. It is said that it is no more an elective. It's no more a choice. It is mandatory. It democratizes the education, the whole education system. Like, then it's no more like that only the rich people or the people who are, say, economically more well off can have more number of books or resources, or can travel or can meet people. no, this whole concept democratizes the whole education and makes it available to to everybody. It increases so it is not a one-time lecture that my professor would in my days come and give and go back, and if I have missed it, then it's bad luck for me. I will only be searching for the notes. Now, these kind of engagements between faculty and students can be recorded and kept for future use, and the whole focus is actually shifting from teaching to learning now. So it's been happening usually in the developed countries that we are observing. And by learning, we mean that today by learning, what we mean is that tomorrow when you get ready and move into a professional environment, that is the place where actually you would be doing the most learning. And this is something like I have also learned over my last 20 years in the industry. It's not that what I learned in my college was not useful, but it gave me an inclination for my future learning. And with the changing times, I'm seeing that I have to learn more and more every day. And it gives many other benefits, like we can overcome our conflicting time schedules, availability of archival and retrieval. So availability becomes there for a lifetime. Geographical challenges and logistics and infrastructure issues can be solved through this. And when we talk about growing by 100% over next year and making this available making higher education available to the masses, then we need to add thousands of colleges and universities and classrooms and infrastructure and faculty, and that could possibly be done only using technology. And as we touched some time back, a lot of these technologies also have relevance in tomorrow's job market. So whatever we are doing today, whatever our respected teachers, our professors are teaching today, the ultimate aim is that we all go and benefit the society. We get into some professions. We work for the growth of the society, the development of the whole society, and so these tools become very relevant there also. So this is what I had to say from application of information and communication technology in the field of education. So that this is one aspect, like whether it is education and information technology, both touches you. I hope that some of this would have been relevant to you. And if there are any questions, you are welcome to ask.
No technology can actually help there. You have to have some, good either internet bandwidth or say network. And personally, I think, the future is the bandwidth will always be, will get better. So personally, I think in say coming 4 years or 5 years from now, bandwidth should not be a challenge even in the remote villages, because we are seeing lots of mobile, companies going there, selling their products. 2Gs, 3Gs are actually coming up. We are talking about 4Gs now. So obviously the bandwidth will improve in future. But yes, your question is very valid in the present scenario. And I think we have technology available which can actually accommodate based on the bandwidth availability. Any other questions? Yeah, so actually it was already covered. So we have 3 phases of a digital content, right? The authoring, the management, and the delivery piece. So you are talking about the second, which is the management piece, right? So we have a platform which is known as an enterprise content management platform, wherein whatever you have created can be stored centrally somewhere, and people can actually go to that site, search the content. The student can actually rate the content. So suppose the lecture is very interesting. Somebody can give that lecture 4 stars. Next time when another student, searches for a content, he will like to see the content which has got maximum stars. That will actually save his time and he will be able to see the best content available there, right? So we have a solution which is known as Adobe Experience Manager. It's a well-known platform in terms of managing the content. So we have that.
Available in open source or we have?
Yeah, so you might get open source equivalent also, but Adobe platform is not free.
So what are the challenges? Because the equal capable software is available in the open domain.
That's right.
So what challenges you means you are experiencing in this development of such softwares?
No, so when you say challenges, I would not say challenge with the company. I would say I have seen, in fact, if you talk about the world's critical infrastructure in terms of IT, say, take an example of a bank, right? You will see their core databases are normally COTS product. COTS is commercial off the shelf, right? People normally avoid running their critical infrastructure on open source platform. The reason is either you have to be very, very expert in that platform. Supportability is always an issue, right? So if you actually equate, so if you are planning to have a stabilized best of the breed infrastructure, which is supported by a big company with lots of engineers like yourself, then COTS is an option. Otherwise, open source. So if you are a geek, can write good codes, then open source can be a good option for you because the cost is not at all there. So that's my view. That's my personal view, in fact.
Thank you.
Any other question you have? Yeah, ma'am.
First of all, thanks for sharing such a knowledge with us. I have a question that in the asynchronous, a student can see the lecture, but if he has some query, then how can he put the queries so that the professor can see this question and give the answer, or in the next lecture he can improve and he can give the solution of this problem?
Oh, fantastic question. So I talked about the content management piece, right? So once you have seen a content, you have the option to integrate it with social component. You have the option to actually send a comment to the lecturer to improve the content for particular section or a topic, right? So you have that option. You also have an option to integrate the system with email, right? So professor can actually get an email alert saying that particular student has asked for this. Our solution also has got a learning management system inbuilt into it, right? So there is a possibility wherein a student takes up a course, he can appear in an exam both in sync as well as async mode, right? And based on the exam, which has been taken, the professor can actually evaluate the total efficiency, whether the student have understood the concept or not, and in his next lecture, he can actually improve upon those areas. Any other question? I hope I have answered your query. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you once again, the entire forum here, for giving Adobe this privilege to come and present this.